A Woman's Place, based in Doylestown, is Bucks County's only dedicated domestic violence service and prevention organization. As such, it provides much-needed services for both male and female victims of domestic violence, including shelter, emotional counseling, legal assistance, and staffing of a 24-hour hotline.
Victims of domestic violence are often isolated in the abusive situations. They're not allowed to go out into the community, work. Their habits may be very controlled by their partner. In order to be safe when they leave, safe in their relationships at home, it's really important that these resources are out there.
In addition to these efforts, A Woman's Place is now focusing on prevention as well by bringing programs to schools to help children learn to build healthy friendships and relationships.
We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year, and while we're really proud of that, it would be really wonderful if we didn't have to celebrate domestic violence organization in another 40 years.
Is there a name?
The Christmas Gala is the gift of giving all year round. We're always trying to help keep a senior citizen who is borderline. They're not in a nursing home, but they are still living at home, but they're struggling. So we try and help them be able to stay a little longer in their home. I ended up doing this by a fluke. I had never in my years of living ever anticipated running a nonprofit or being so nice and giving things away. Like, I just didn't think of that as me. And 8 years ago, I ran across a woman who needed some help. She was 92, and it just rolled from that. But I like the fact that I'm making a difference. When I first started this, I didn't know how to lead our team members. I didn't know how to bring them in. And then I learned what I needed to do, and I just learned to be myself and honesty, and and then that helps me be a better leader now. I want to find a way, which I've started doing, working with the other nonprofits, so that we're not against each other. We're not battling for the same funding. We're not battling for the same donations. That we come together and we can get it. So my goal for the community is for us to all come together and find ways to make us all succeed. Huge shout outs to my family, because they have put up with me for the past 8 years with my craziness. My friends who all jumped on board without knowing what we were going to be doing 8 years ago. And my team members, my volunteers, those people that have come who don't know me. This would not be possible without every last one of them.
So at a pretty young age, my mom got me really interested in volunteering, which was a big part of my decision to go into community benefit work. Most of the leaders that I have tried to be like are very courageous and have to be willing to take risks that others maybe aren't willing to do. But I think a good leader also needs to have faith in themselves and trust from others, because you can't really lead if there's no one who's willing to follow. I do really try to surround myself with positive people, and that's something that's in high supply here at Woman's Place, and that's something that motivates me to come back to work is the people that I get to work with. If I could give my younger self some advice, it would be not to sweat all the small stuff, failure's not the end of the world, and never going to get better if you don't try new things and fall down every once in a while, because then you learn how to get back up. And also take better care of yourself. I would love to give a shout out to everybody who works at, volunteers with, supports A Woman's Place, and all of the other really awesome community benefit work that's happening in Bucks County. Thank you to everybody for all of your passion and hard work and energy in trying to make Bucks County the best place it can be.
Habitat for Humanity of Bucks County held a free Safe at Home repair clinic as part of the agency's home repair program called A Brush with Kindness. Presenters described repairs and modifications most frequently needed by older, disabled homeowners.
The objective is to keep them safe in their homes and let them age in place safely.
No more ladders, okay? You stay off the ladders. It's not a good idea. That's an accident waiting to happen.
There's ample ways to make this a safer place for someone and not, force them out of their home and make them go to assisted living.
They're very reluctant and very resistant to change.
I have a large family, and I'm the youngest, so I got to think of all my elderly sisters. And I do have a handicap sister. When they get older, people do tend to not want to change. So if they get used to things now that they know that they're going to need, then there's not a hard transition.
They become very emotional and very appreciative that you've opened up doors for them that they haven't been able to go through in a long time.
Reporting from Middletown, this is Bill Fraser.
Learning from another person's experiences is helpful to the young as well. Students at Holy Trinity Catholic School in Morrisville had a visit from a 13-year-old boy who is blind and attends another area Catholic school. The visiting student taught them about Braille, but also about how much we have in common in spite of our differences. Reporter Thomas Freestad was there and brings us this report.
13-year-old Nicholas Lentz presented on the Braille writing system to a 7th grade class at Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Morrisville Wednesday morning.
Kids are a little less shy about going up to another student who has a disability, but not everyone feels comfortable with that. Some people are so worried that they're going to make a mistake that they never make contact with an individual who is blind or visually impaired.
Lentz attends St. Lucy's Day School for Children with Visual Impairments in Philadelphia and offered his perspective on using Braille, which the students had previously covered in their curriculum.
I think it's really cool. I do.
Students had a hands-on experience seeing how Lentz uses an eclectic collection of Braille devices, most of which are hands-on for Lentz himself.
My favorite part of this program was learning how there's the models that the students of visually impaired and blindness use. The models kind of feel like a realistic version, like a 3D version of it, like a pop-up book.
Reporting from Morrisville Borough, this is Thomas Freestad.
A youth baseball team learned more than just about hitting and pitching during a recent practice.
Coaching Boys to Men into Men is a program that was brought to us by Women's Place. We've sat down and talked to them, and we're using their curriculum as a way to just continue what we've already been doing and working with our kids and, coaching more than just baseball or more than just sport, and trying to teach them and help them grow into good young men and good people.
The message resonated with some of the team's players.
think when kids play sports, sometimes they can get a little too cocky, and I think it's good that you can have like a good personality on the field.
And most of your life is probably not going to be baseball. Most of it's going to be off the field with other people.
This is Kevin Cook, reporting from Chalfont.
Grab a box of tissues because I have a story about the forming of a friendship that's going to touch your heart. It's the story of two women, one who was mourning the loss of her son, while the other was rejoicing in the gift of a life-saving transplant. Theirs was an unexpected friendship that turned into an unshakable bond. Reporter Marian Callahan told their story as part of her Finding Joy series.
It is likely Arlinda Griffin of Philadelphia and Mary Smith of Warminster would have never met if tragedy didn't strike. A car accident claimed the life of Smith's 23-year-old son, Eric. He made it clear that if he were to die, his organs would be donated to help save others.
Never in a million years did I think that he was going to affect so many people with organ and tissue and bone donation.
That's where Arlinda Griffin comes in. Her kidney and pancreas were failing. Arlinda was the direct recipient of Eric's decision to become an organ donor.
I knew that this family had suffered a loss, and that in order for me to have another chance at life, they had to give up someone that they loved, and I just needed them to know that I was thankful.
And through shared letters, Arlinda and Mary developed a bond that is still growing strong.
She'll call me and she'll say, well, I just wanted to wish your kidney, your pancreas happy birthday, so I'm like, okay.
In life, Eric lived to make others happy. In death, his legacy of giving continued. Now, together, they inspire others to give the gift of life.
Organ donation was something that I heard about. I never thought I would live that side of the donor family story. But in dealing with my grief, I can say that it has become a great source of healing for me as well, knowing that my son would have wanted to do anything he could to help someone to have a better life, a life that they could enjoy, because he was certainly all about having a very good time. And meeting Arlinda was just the icing on the cake. And having a friendship, I mean, that's a special gift in and of itself.
This is Marian Callahan, reporting from Philadelphia.
My most memorable high school experience would have to be bringing Minithon to my school of over 3,000 students. And it's run by an organization called 4 Diamonds, and it's basically for the kids, and it's conquering pediatric cancer, and we raised over $35,000. My hopes for the future would have to include going to University of Southern California in Los Angeles, California, and majoring in human biology with a double major in neuroscience with an emphasis in pre-med. And I hope to become an oncologist when I grow up because I want to help people in need that has cancer.
My plans for the future include attending Drexel University in the fall. I'll be a member of their School of Education as well as their honors program, and I'll also be in an accelerated degree program, so I will graduate with both a bachelor's and a master's degree in education. Then I'll go on to be a teacher.
My most memorable high school experience has to be the time I got to go to national competition my sophomore year of high school for early childhood education as a project focusing on multiple intelligences theory by Howard Gardner. I was involved with community programs all throughout my whole life because I feel like when my parents had me, I always was there at the community events helping out and doing things, and I love being able to go out in the community and see different things and help out whoever needs help. In the future, I plan on attending Penn State Abington this fall for early childhood education with a major in pre-K and through 4th, and then a minor in special education.
On Thursday, January 8th, 2015, the Edgeley Fire Company, along with several other departments, were dispatched to the Riverside Industrial Complex, also known as the Sylvie Corporation, for a worker that was possibly trapped in a silo collapse full of concrete. After being there several hours and having professional opinions from other agencies and doctors and firefighters and rescue teams, we deemed that it was going to go from a rescue, unfortunately, to a recovery, and which took us 4 days to recover him from the rubble. It was a large silo, I believe anywhere from 85 to 100 foot, and they estimated that possibly 1 million pounds of powder was inside the silo when it collapsed. So there were some areas that obviously you couldn't see under. Some of the powder was 50 foot deep. Some of it was 6 foot deep, with holes in the ground, and it's just metal hanging from everywhere as high as 100 foot.
Without the mutual aid of other fire companies, excavation companies, demolition companies, the Sylvie workers themselves, with their information on what they had, whatever information they had for the worker that we were trying to locate, the events wouldn't have been possible. It was an event I never want to see again, but we all learned and grew from that event. And if we can get better from that, that's what we would want. Obviously not the outcome that we hoped for, but we did our best, and that's all we can try and do for the job we sign up for.